Hi, I'm AJ Ho, the director of effoless English, and welcome to the 7 Rule email course. Today is Rule 1. Now, Rule 1 is learn English with phrases, not individual words. This one, just like all this rule, is very simple, very easy, and like this rule very powerful. So simple, so powerful. What is the rule? The rule is always learn phrases, not individual words. So simple. So a phrase is a group of words. You can have a whole sentence, but it's just even a part of sentence. So for example, let's say you have the word hate, H-A-T-E, hate, and you want to learn the new word. You can, just write out the word hate, and then you find the dictionary, the meaning, and then you try to memorize hate. That's the old grade, that's the kind of textbook grade and school grade. Right, in school you probably remember a lot of individual words. You have the big vocabulary list, and you trying to memorize all of them, trying to remember all of individual single words. It's not a good way to learn. Much better if you learn a phrase, a group of words. And where do you find the phrases? You find the phrases in the real English podcast that you're listening to, in the real English and storybooks that you're reading. So you don't memorize a list in a book. No. You listen to the real English, and when you hear the new word, you write it down. Or when you're reading storybook and you see the new word, you write it down. But do not just write out that word. You want to write out the whole phrase or sentence, all of them. So instead of saying hate, you could write out John hates ice cream. You write out the whole phrase. Why do you do this? What's the power of phrases? Well, phrases give you a lot of information, much more information. Number one, phrase easy to remember because they have the meaning, they have a kind of picture and story, especially when you get them from something that you're reading or listening to. You will remember John hates ice cream. You will remember the whole story. You will remember who Johnny, and you remember he said he hated, he didn't like it. So you will have extra a piece of information. All the extra information help you remember the meaning of the phrase and the meaning of that word. Much easy to remember. Number two, there's a bonus. When you learn the phrase, you are learning grammar also. You're not only learning individual words, you're learning grammar. You're learning how to use that word correctly. You don't need to. It's automatic. This is another way that native speakers learn English grammar because when we're children, we learn with phrases. We learn groups of words, not just one word by one word by one word. Word by word is slow and doesn't help, and you don't learn grammar. But when you learn the whole phrase, you write out the phrase, you're getting extra information. Maybe you don't know it, but you are. For example, John hates ice cream. Just like with the S on the end, hates, right? John hates. From grammar studies, the making sharp like in the verb agree. You don't need to think about that. Just write out the phrase and study it and review it. Always learn the phrase, not just that word. And so in the future, whenever you say he hates ice cream, she hates ice cream, you will add that S because that's how you learned it. You learned it correctly. You don't learn it from a phrase. On the other hand, if you learn from a textbook, you just learn the word hate, mean does not like. That's when you start making mistakes because that's how you learned it. You learned it correctly. You learned it from a phrase.